Witcher 3, PlayStation 5 Pro. Does it look good? How good does it look? What mode is better? We're going to dive in and break it down. Right off the bat, we're doing ray tracing as opposed to performance. So it should be at like a 30 frames per second. And we're going to turn motion blur off. I'm not a big fan of motion blur overall. One of the things that I've noticed right off of the bat, it's really choppy. I don't know if you can tell by me just going around in a circle, but it's so not smooth. But I believe that's because the ray tracing mode is capped regardless. I know that The Witcher 3 didn't get a PlayStation 5 Pro update. That's really important. Just because if they didn't optimize it for the PlayStation 5 Pro, you're not going to see the full impact of the PlayStation 5 Pro. But as we all know, the best part of the Pro tends to be the performance mode because it upscales and does all the stuff behind the scenes to kind of give it a little bit of a boost. Now, in the next gen version of The Witcher, you can choose to have the camera close, which is what I wanted to do so you can get a better look at Geralt. Now, the biggest thing I want to focus on outside of that is lighting, foliage, and to see if we can see any ray tracing. Right now, as I'm kind of just running around, there's no water or any reflective surfaces for me to really test it off of. And, well, the lighting looks great and the foliage looks pretty thick and dense too, but there are some issues with, like, right here, with the leaves on the ground. You know, they're not 2025 graphics. You can definitely tell that they built on top of an older game right here. Let me go the other way because I'm not trying to get into a fight. But anyway, as beautiful as the game is, because it's at 30, you can really see how choppy it is when you move it around. And personally, I think it detracts from the overall artistic presentation for that reason. Now, if we jump down into the options, go to display, and change it over to performance. Right off the bat, turning is silky smooth, and I personally do not notice too big of a difference in foliage. The lighting seems different, I will be honest, but I think the lighting seems different because now it's much smoother. When you're going to be watching this, I'm pretty sure the Pro image video capture caps out at 30 frames, so you're probably not going to see the choppiness difference in camera rotation, for example. But it is drastically noticeable. It is so noticeable that playing in 30 is almost nauseating. Once you get accustomed to playing at 60, playing at 30 is just not as good. So in terms of foliage, let's focus on this patch of grass underneath me and the grass to the left and to the right. We're going to change it back to ray tracing mode and take a look at how the foliage just looks. I mean, there's some pretty decent lighting right now, so we can have a good understanding of how that differs as well. But even if it's really, really good, I highly doubt that it's going to be good enough to justify sacrificing 30 frames. I don't know if I need to like restart or reboot to make it kick in, but since you can see the frames drop, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna matter. I mean, this looks really good. It looks really good. It's just choppy, and because it's moving so much slower, it's hard for me to really take in. You gotta move the camera so slow where, you know, in the midst of combat, you could be left, right really quickly. So I think that concludes it. It's simple enough. Whenever you're in the PlayStation 5 Pro and you're not sure whether it's a graphics mode or a performance mode type of game, just remember that sometimes you can sacrifice a lot of artistic quality or just visual presentation when you're capped at 30, which was the reason people had complaints about the Pro because of, you know, CPU or whatever. I'm not a tech guy, so forgive me if I'm saying things incorrectly, but I don't see too much of a difference in terms of foliage. I do see a difference in terms of lighting, but that might be due to the frames and whatnot. I think it looks really good. I'm a fan of it. I was watching some of the old base PlayStation 5 footage the other day, and I just thought some of the surrounding environments just looked really pretty. I wanted to dive in and see what it was capable of doing on the Pro. Now, most of the work done in the background, I'm probably not noticing since I haven't played on my base PS5 in a while. But I can say that the game looks gorgeous and it looks better than some PlayStation 5 games that you could probably run into. I don't know. It's just a good one. So I would check it out if you're going to go with the Pro. Once again, it's a performance mode wins type of situation. So thanks for tuning in. But outside of that, I hope y'all have a good one.